and welcome to my rules explanation slash playthrough for Elder Sign Omens. The PowerPoint for this will be available at the link in the description, where you can find other PowerPoints for games that I've made so that you can teach it to your friends. This one's a little different than the ones I've been doing lately. You can't find this game on Board Game Arena. It's available in app stores. Going back to sort of my roots with this one. But I thought, what better time to discuss cosmic horror than at Halloween? Silly. It's silly. Okay, so Elder Sign is within sort of the Arkham horror umbrella family of games at Fantasy Flight Games. So let's talk a little bit. If you're unfamiliar with the genre, let's do sort of like a little introduction to it. And then we'll get into the gameplay of Elder Sign Omens. So the cosmic horror, the way that it's been explained to me that I feel resonated the most with me is, in Flatland, if you don't know, I'm going to give you a little synopsis. There's this square. He lives in a two-dimensional land. And he goes to like a one-dimensional land where everybody's lines. And he's like, no, there's more. There's like a whole other dimension you're missing. Like you could be squares like me. And then one day he encounters three-dimensional shapes or forms. I don't know if they're shapes, if they're three-dimensional. Anyway, it's a sphere, but he can't comprehend that third dimension of the sphere, and all he can see is just this circle sort of cut out of it. Cosmic horror is kind of like that. Like there's this underlying supernatural, super old, extraterrestrial universe, like full of life forms and ritual and magic and power that exists sort of under the veneer of whatever we call life, right? There's this third dimension around our two-dimensional square that we sometimes catch glimpses of, which is terrifying because our brains can't comprehend that extra level, right? For a species like ours that likes to categorize things, be able to label them and to study them and to know them, the fact that these things are unknowable and yet all over is the nature of cosmic horror, right? It's not, you might have encountered something, because this is about Lovecraft, right? You might have encountered something like with Cthulhu, like, oh, how terrifying is this guy with like a tentacle mouth? But that's not the idea, right? A lot of cosmic horror is not showing you what to be afraid of, which is interesting. I'm not a horror person at all. I like witches. That's pretty much it. I'll watch anything that's got some witchcraft aspects to it, mainly so I can just sympathize with the witches. But I don't like gore. I don't like a lot of stuff like that. So cosmic horror. These are some things that I think are kind of contemporary examples of Lovecraftian fiction, and some of them aren't just me. I haven't really heard anyone say that QAnon is an example of Lovecraftian fiction, but this idea of this other that is difficult to know. I mean, True Detective season 1 has overt allusions to sort of Lovecraftian mythos, even if it's not specifically by Lovecraft, with Carcosa and the Yellow King. The Thing runs deep in that mythos as well. The Shape of Water is said that Guillermo del Toro sort of does it from like a compassionate towards like a Lovecraftian monster sort of view. And I just think QAnon, the reason why I say that QAnon feels like a contemporary example of Lovecraftian fiction is that Lovecraft's mythos is very syncretic. So it takes it cherry picks bits from traditions and to form this new sort of mythos, right? And it's similar to what you'll see a lot within sort of proto-fascist groups. You'll see them like if you look at white supremacist groups in the United States, they're very syncretic as well. They take Norse imagery, they like a lot of like Celtic imagery, Aryan imagery, and or if you look at New Age, sort of mixing Celtic and ancient Egyptian hieroglyph and like this sort of thing, this syncretic synthesis, which would be probably redundant. That's probably what the prefix sin means in that. So you'll find that the fact that there are these underlying tendrils that connect things are used as evidence of this sort of deeper cosmic horror, right? So that's why I say QAnon. You don't have to view that seriously at all. So let's talk about Fantasy Flight games. They basically are forever in in this love relationship with the Lovecraft mythos, right? The Cthulhu and Lovecraft and all that is not open source. What do we call it? Public domain. So they're able to use this ready-made lore-rich universe to have multiple games in, ranging from table hogging behemoths, right? This one's a little bit less of a behemoth, but same idea. So quick romps through Innsmouth. You've got the card game, the collectible card game. Just I enjoy. An Elder Sign, which is what we're going to be talking about, is one of the sort of less dense entrants in this sort of family. So let's talk about Elder Sign as a Cthulhu primer. So it's set in Miskatonic University Museum as opposed to an Arkham Horror, which is set within Innsmouth and other cities in the sort of northeast where this takes place in like New England, or Eldritch Horror, which takes place across the whole world. Elder Sign is limited to just the museum at the university. There's only one ancient one. An ancient one is about to be awoken, so we get to find out what ancient ones are. And the investigators, who are always the player avatars in these games, the investigators have a set number of nights to seal the ancient one using elder signs. So you get a lot of this mythos, you get a lot of this sort of idea, the atmosphere of the games without having to commit to like a 4-hour long game if you're not even sure that you'll be into it. And the good thing about all these games being from Fantasy Flight is that they're very consistent with the iconography. So if you play this and you move on to like an Eldritch Horror and Arkham Horror, you'll recognize a lot of the mechanics, you'll recognize a lot of the symbols, and I think that's good. I think that's an advantage. So let's talk about Elder Signs themselves. What are Elder Signs? Well, it is a protective symbol within the Cthulhu mythos. So it's like a protective rune sort of thing. And this, again, you'll start to see like what I was talking about with the syncretism probably, of the lore. And then the Elder Signs are discovered within the game through a combination of research, luck, and combat, which is one of the reasons why I like this universe so much. It doesn't portray success as just brute force, just beat these monsters, because again, that's part of cosmic horror, right? Like you can't fully understand it, you can't fully comprehend it, and you won't be able to physically overpower it. Like, what are you talking about? So you have to find these other ways, like if they're supernatural, if they sort of rely on this almost magic, what we would probably subparly describe as magic, then there's got to be a way that we can counteract that also using this magic. And this is from the lore, some flavor text for you specifically about the museum, right? So this is from the game itself, and these are artist representations. Like one of the things I also like about the Elder Sign is that it's a very simple shape, I think. So that kind of almost lends it this believability. Okay, let's talk about ancient ones. It's what we're all here for, right? Ancient ones could be described as deities. They are mostly unfathomable to humans, and they are revered by some cultists on Earth who feel like these ancient ones could bring some sort of order, or they might be brainwashed, things like this. So we have some examples here from the Elder Sign. If I say Elder Scroll, I keep stopping myself. If I say Elder Scroll, know that I mean Elder Sign. I do not think that these are related. They might be, though. Ooh, syncretism. So, for example, we've got Yig, um, we've got the King in Yellow, we got this guy, we got Cthulhu, sort of the rock star of the mythos. Um, this guy, and I mean, part of the design of the names, right, is that they're supposed to be hard to say because they're supposed to have this otherworldly feel. So I'm not even gonna try to say this one. Um, and then the name of sort of what their mission is. So let's look at one more in depth. Let's look at Hastur, the King in Yellow. Each ancient one is going to provide us information about its gameplay within Elder Sign. So how many Elder Signs it takes to seal them. This one takes 13. Their doom track, which is up here. Their difficulty, and any flavor text. So with this one, the King in Yellow, which is a play, if you're unfamiliar with it, is hidden in the museum. Otherworld adventures have extra doom penalty. We can talk about that. So we're trying to seal Hastur from either coming out of this play. I mean, you can fill in some of the narrative yourself. So we've talked about elder signs. We've talked about the ancient ones. How do we deal with the ancient ones? Well, we're going to be playing investigators. There are 16 options of the investigators in the base game. They all have 2 stats. They've got sanity and stamina. And they're, for the most part, they're going to have some total of 10 of these, right? Either they're going to lean towards sanity and maybe not have as much stamina, or the opposite. They're going to be quite hardy, but maybe not as prepared mentally for the horrors they're about to see. They also each will have unique abilities. So Sister Mary ignores locked glyphs and is immune to the nightly mythos effect, right? And we'll talk about more what these do. They either provide a bonus or they break rules the way any unique ability in any game does. Well, let's go to the museum, everybody. What's going on at the Miskatonic University Museum? So this is what the floor plan of the museum looks like. And we will have various adventures set up throughout the museum while we try to find the set number of elder signs to seal the ancient one. So adventures will require tasks be fulfilled. So this is an example of an adventure sort of locator. This is the detail of this adventure. So we have 2 tasks we would need to fulfill. There is a punishment for failing the adventure and rewards for succeeding. The better the rewards or the more severe the punishment, the harder the task. So this task is fairly straightforward. The punishment is typically related to one of the 2 stats, stamina or sanity. So this one is you lose a stamina if you fail this adventure. You fail the adventure by not succeeding at the tasks. So let's talk a little bit about how to do an adventure then. So let's say that our investigator here is attempting this task, the missing records. They want to solve this adventure. They want to get the bonus, the benefit from it. There's 3 things to consider: the investigator's unique ability, the investigator's inventory, and then triage the tasks. Investigators will roll dice to simulate conjuring glyphs to match the symbols needed for the tasks. And each task starts with 6 green dice. That may change based on situations that happen in the museum. We'll talk about that later. So these are what the dice look like. The green dice, sort of basic dice, have a 1 magnifying glass on one face, 2 on the other, 3 on the other, a lore, which is this scroll, a peril, which is this skull, and a terror, which is this like tentacle thing, tentacle mass. We've also got yellow glyph dice, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the lore and the peril. or the red glyph dice, which are 2, 3, 4, lore, peril, and wild. And wild, you can choose any of these four, either a value 4, a lore, a peril, or a terror. Terror is not great. And remember, terror is only found on the green glyph dice. Or the wild. You won't find it at all on the yellow dice. So those are the dice that you'll be rolling. Things to consider when you're attempting the adventures. The first thing we mentioned was the investigator's unique ability. So Mandy Thompson's unique ability is that once per day, she can conjure 2 glyphs again before determining if she was able to complete a task. So for her, that means she can re-roll 2 dice once in her turn, right? She can conjure 2 glyphs again. So she can choose 2 dice and roll them again to see if she's able to complete her task. Let's look at her inventory, which is this satchel. Her satchel is going to show any items she has, plus any trophies she's got. So let's look a little bit closer in this. There are 4 main types of items that you can have, right? You can have common items, which are shown by this pistol. Unique items are shown by this sword. Spell items are the book, and clue tokens are this footprint. So common items, for example, will get you a yellow die, maybe a red die, maybe a yellow and a red die. They'll help you in some way like that. Unique items are going to be one of a kind items that will get you something better, some better ability than a common item. Spells will give you some power, like maybe to raise somebody's sanity, to restore somebody's stamina, to save a clue for next time, right? To save a glyph for next time. Those are spells. And then clues let you re-roll any or all of your glyphs. So they're re-roll tokens, which are pretty handy. So we've talked about investigators' unique abilities. We've talked about investigators' inventory. You also need to triage the tasks because you can only satisfy one task per conjuring. So looking at this one, if these are what we roll to begin with, we roll a terror, a 3, a 1, a peril, a 1, and a 2. We can either finish the 6 or we could finish the lore in the 3, except we can't. We can't finish this one because we don't have a lore dice. So we're going to do this one, and we're going to use this 3, this 1, and this 2. And we just assign those dice here. We assign those glyphs. And dice used for their glyphs cannot be re-rolled for a different glyph. So those dice are gone now. So now we're going to re-roll, and we're going to try to get a lore and 3 magnifying glasses. Okay? So, first thing you can do to resolve a task, if you have the glyphs to match the task, match it. Go for it. Now, if you don't, you can use any inventory items or investigator powers to help you. So in this case, we re-rolled, we got a terror, a 2, and a lore. The problem is we need a lore and a 3. So I'm going to use my investigator ability, which is re-roll 2 dice. And I'm going to re-roll the number and the terror, right? And hope that I get a 3 or maybe a 1 and a 2, right? Even though I already had a 2, I like my odds of getting a 3 better if I roll 2 dice. So we'll see. I probably should have just rolled that one. It doesn't matter. So I put them in these spaces, I re-roll them, and this is what I get. A terror, a peril, and a lore. Not great, because I need a lore and 3. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use one of the items from my inventory. I can use a clue to conjure any or all glyphs again. So I'm going to put those 2 in here. I'm going to re-roll them, and daggum, I got another peril and another lore. So I still can't do it, right? I can't accomplish this task. So I'm going to focus. To move on to try to re-roll everything again, you're going to sacrifice one of your dice. So you take one of them and you put it over here. And then you have the ability to focus, which is to save one of the dice for the next time you roll. So I get rid of one of these lures. I can focus. I'm going to save this lore because then that means when I re-roll my dice, I'm only really re-rolling this one and hoping for a 3. Right? So that is focusing. Focus also, it's not just you. If you're there, let's say it this way, any investigator that is at the location can help you focus. So you can store 1 dice on each player that's at the location. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. So what if you fail? If you fail an adventure, the investigator will incur any negative effects from the adventure. So remember, this one was lose a stamina. We failed, we lose a stamina. So now she's at 4 of 5. And then they will still be waiting in this location. They're still there. So if another investigator goes to that location to resolve the adventure, they will have Mandy to also focus with. They can assign a glyph to her if they need to re-roll the dice. Now let's say that Mandy had been able to beat it. The investigator attempting the adventure will receive any rewards. So in this case, 2 clues and a trophy. And then be teleported along with any other investigators at the location back to the entrance. Now, there's no movement points or anything like that. Just on your turn, you choose a location to trigger. It can be the location you're at. You don't have to go to a new location. There's nothing like that. It's just once the adventure is beat, everybody who's there goes back to the entrance. Excellent. So that's just your basic adventure, right? Now you might notice on the map, we've got some other things possibly going on around an adventure pin, right? So let's talk about some of those. An adventure pin that's got these tentacles are going to look a lot like our terror symbol. And what that means is if you're rolling dice, when you roll dice, it's not if, you always roll dice. This is a dice game. When you roll your dice, if you're not completing the whole adventure and you roll a terror die, then you'll trigger the terror condition. So in this case, if you were to roll a terror dice, you would discard all other dice that show a terror face, which is rough. That's really rough. This example not only shows us an example of a terror condition, but it also shows us tasks that must be completed in a particular order. First, you must satisfy this task. Then you must satisfy this task. And then you must satisfy this task. So remember, most investigators, there's only one who can complete more than one task on one conjuring. Most of them can't do it. So this one, you would need to roll a terror dice first, assign it here, lose a sanity. Then your next conjuring, you could assign a lore here if you roll one, lose a stamina, and then the next one, you could assign at least 7 worth of magnifying glass to this location. If you're able to do all 3 of those things, you'll get these rewards. If you fail, you'll lose 2 stamina. That's rough, right? Because if you beat this one, and you beat this one, and then you fail at this one, you'll have lost 1, 2, 3, 4 stamina. That's huge. That's a huge amount of stamina. Sanity. Even worse. So let's look at these symbols. We've seen 3 of them already. This is the Elder Sign. So if you successfully beat this adventure, you'll get an Elder Sign, which is good because that's what you need to seal the Ancient one. This is a common item, so you'll get a random common item. You'll get a random spell. And then this is a monster. So we'll draw it, and then there'll be a monster placed somewhere on the board. We'll address monsters later. Excellent. All right. This symbol, if you see a moon, it means that there are conditions within this adventure that will trigger at midnight. It won't trigger when you go to try to beat the adventure, but if the adventure is unbeat by the time midnight comes, it'll trigger. So let's talk a little bit more about midnight. Over the course of the game, everyone's going to take turns, right? So I go first. Let's say I do my action. I'm going to advance the clock 3 hours. Each investigator's action advances at 3 hours. So if you've got 4 investigators, 3, 6, 9, boom. After the fourth one, it'll hit midnight, right? We do 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no noon in the game. You guys have to, the investigators have to rest at some point, plus the museum's open. You can't just be conjuring glyphs in the middle of like the mummy room at the British Museum. I don't know, maybe you can. Last time I was there, nobody was trying to do it. And I feel like the docents might get mad at you if you were to try to do it. But also I feel like if any of this shit were real, the British Museum would be the place to do it, because that's like a syncretism utopia. It's not the right word. Xanadu? I don't know. Paradise. Okay, so possible midnight effects that might trigger at midnight. So there might be something related to the mythos. In this case, Hastur has mythos that randomly trigger at midnight. This one, everybody, we get 1 doom added for each investigator with 1 sanity. Luckily, nobody's at 1 sanity, so there's no doom added. And that's what this symbol is. It's doom. You might recall, let's see if we can go back. Which one are we in now? Midnight? This one. Yeah. Let's look at this one. This is the Ancient One's Doom track. So when you get +1 Doom, one of these is covered. We cover this, nothing happens. We cover this, nothing happens. We cover this, you might recognize the symbol. We just talked about it. It's a monster. So once we get to 3 Doom, a monster appears somewhere on the board. Nothing, nothing, monster, monster, nothing, monster, monster. Once this is covered, it's the end of the game. Hastur has been summoned and everything is terrible. Everything's terrible. So that's why you don't want to advance a doom. Not only is it one of the clocks that ends the game and it ends it in a loss for you, but also there might be monsters. You should always avoid monsters. So we might have mythos effects that trigger at midnight or adventure effects. So in this map, we've got 2 adventures that have moons. So we have 2 adventure effects triggered by midnight. Horrible Visions gives us +2 doom, and Transported by Magic gives us +1 doom. So this midnight gives us +3 doom. And remember, we only have 11 doom. So even if these are our first dooms, right? If we don't clear these locations and get rid of these effects, every midnight we're going to be getting 3 doom, and we're going to have, once we get to that 4th midnight, the game's going to be over, because that'll give us our 12th doom. It'll give us our 11th doom. We won't even get to 12 doom because everything will be terrible. So that's midnight. That's kind of the game's way of catching up as you make progress the game. Because remember, you're fighting the game in this. Like with any co-op game, you're fighting against the system within the game. You're playing against the game. Okay, so that's midnight. What about this symbol? So some adventures will have pulsing green, yellow, or red circles or more around their location here. So it's kind of hard to see because this is a static image, right? This isn't Hogwarts. But this yellow circle is sort of pulsing, pulsing, pulsing. It might be a red one. It might be a green one. You might have more than one. And what that means is a die of that color has been locked up. No investigator can use a die of that color until the adventure has been resolved. So this one, for example, once someone completes all 3 of these tasks, it'll unlock the yellow glyph. And then if someone has a common or a unique item that would reveal it, then they would be able to go ahead and use it. If it's a monster that's locked it, so let's take a look at a monster. A monster is going to be different from a task. This is a task. This is a monster. A monster is surrounded in green. So in this case, and a monster is shown by this hand. If there's a hand at a location, that means there's a monster there. This monster takes 4 magnifying glasses to beat. If you beat the monster with 4 magnifying glasses, then this yellow lock goes away. And if you can conjure a yellow glyph, you can do it right then. Right then. If it's related to the adventure, like that one we just saw, oops-a-doodle. is all adventure related. You have to beat the whole adventure before you can unlock the glyph. So then we talked about the hand, that's monsters. Once you beat the monster, even if you don't beat the whole adventure, the monster is off the board. The adventure might stay, but the monster is gone. And the monster typically will provide a trophy. I guess you take its head. This green location marker, though, has nothing to do with the monster. This is an otherworld location. So, for example, another dimension. That's not something that you typically find in a museum. So this is how you get to sort of that cosmic horror location, right? You're starting to see even more of scary things out there. And in this case, typically other dimension locations will also be more likely to provide elder signs. You'll get more clues. They're also more of a risk because you're on like Cthulhu's home turf, which is not a place that you want to be. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So this monster, we talked about this. This is the monster. If you defeat the monster, but not the adventure stays, the monster goes. As soon as the monster is defeated, the yellow glyph is available for use again. So you see here, there's a yellow lock on the yellow. This is showing all of the dice that are available, right? You got all the green ones, that's why they're lit. You could have a red one. You can't have a yellow one because of the lock. But as soon as you defeat that monster, you can have a yellow one, and then you get the yellow one, and you're happy, and hopefully you beat this dimension, which is it's a weird thing to say. So let's just quickly go back for a second to the map. Another type of adventure that you might have is one that has an entrance cost. So it might be that whatever's happening inside of the adventure, like at the location, is so terrible that you go in and you lose a sanity right away just from going into the adventure. So you're going to want to keep an eye out for things like that as well. Those are usually Ancient One specific. So when choosing an adventure, it's important to evaluate the risk to the investigator, which is what we're talking about, right? You don't want to go just head first into an adventure if you might potentially become incapacitated. When an adventurer loses all their stamina or all their sanity, they don't play anymore. They're out. You can't use them. And that's not great. This game can really wear down your investigators. So it's Bob's turn. Here's Bob. Bob's got 4 sanity and 6 stamina. So his sanity is maxed out at 4. If he were to attempt this adventure and succeed at the first 2 tasks, but fail at the third, he would go insane. Because he would lose a stamina here, and then lose these 2. Lose a sanity here, and then lose these 2 sanity, which would put him at 4 minus 4, which is 0. So he probably shouldn't go there unless he's like super confident that he's going to get it. So let's say he doesn't want to go there. He looks at this one. This one has a midnight effect. The failure is he loses 2 sanity. And the reward, though, is a unique item. And this puts one of those otherworld locations on the board. So those are good. You want otherworld locations on the board so you can go and try to get some more elder signs. Like I said, they're very fertile elder sign land. So in this case, this adventure looks slightly more promising, right? He can probably get these, but there's a possibility that he will lose half of his sanity if he fails. If he succeeds, he's going to lose a quarter of his sanity because he's going to have to lose one here. But if he fails, he'd lose these 2, right? And he'd lose 2, and that's half of his sanity. So it's not ideal for him. Now let's look at this task that has the yellow glyph locked, right? The punishment for failing this is to lose a stamina and a doom to advance in the doom track. The reward is 2 common items, but if he succeeds, like to succeed this one, he's got to lose a stamina, and to succeed this one, he's got to lose a stamina, right? Maximum, he loses 3 stamina. He's got 6 stamina. He's a beefy boy. So he'll go for this task because he can handle that risk better than maybe another investigator who doesn't have as high stamina, right? So the last location, which we haven't talked very much about, is the entrance. Now you can spend your turn at the entrance doing one of three things. You can get first aid, you can go to the lost and found, or you can go to the souvenir shop, which is where, and these will be where you'll spend your trophies that you've accrued doing the adventures. If we look back at these adventures, the amount of trophies too kind of imply like how difficult it might be, right? This one not only is giving you an elder sign and a common item, all these things, it's also giving you 2 trophies. This one's giving you 1 trophy, and this one's giving you 3 trophies. So, I mean, you can do what you want, right? If you go to first aid, you can spend trophies to restore stamina or sanity. If you spend no trophies, you can restore 1 of either. If you spend 2 trophies, you can max out your sanity or max out your stamina. If you spend 4 trophies, you can max out both. So that's pretty handy. Lost and found, you click this, it spins, and then it lands on something, whatever it lands on that happens to you or you get. So you could either get 3 trophies, you could get a spell, a clue, a common item, or you could lose a stamina or lose a health. I'm not really sure thematically how that works in a lost and found in a museum. I don't think you can just go into a museum and be like, I'll be having that. And then you put your hand in a box and either it drives you crazy or injures you or you get a gun. I'm not really sure narratively how that works. And then the shop, you spend trophies to purchase items. You can spend, if you've got 10 trophies, you can get an elder sign. You can't pool your trophies with other investigators. So keep that in mind. But you could spend trophies to get spells and common items and clues and elder signs to boost your numbers so that you can actually win the game. Let's look at the main thing, which is winning and losing the game. So winning or losing the game, you win the game if you gather enough elder signs to seal the ancient one. You lose the game if the ancient one gets elevates the doom level to the point where they're able to be summoned, or all of your investigators are incapacitated. Either they've gone insane or they've lost all their stamina. And then the ancient one wreaks havoc. So that's the rules explanation. The PowerPoint will be available, like I said, in the description below. And let's go ahead and move right on into playing the game. I'll be using the iOS version of the game. Let's go. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on our playthrough then of Elder Sign Omens. Let's choose our ancient one. So sort of going from easy and then the difficulty gets higher as we go along. You'll notice that I have some that are locked because I haven't even, I've never beat this guy. I didn't even know that was a guy. I don't think I've ever beat Hastur either. I might have beaten this one. I've beaten Yig, so that's something. But I figure I'll get the expansions once I can actually beat the ones that just come with the base game. Because the expansions are very hard. Very hard. Insane. I can't even barely do normal. How am I going to do insane? So, I don't think we're going to go with Yig, though. Maybe we will. Let's do... No, we'll do Hastur. I'm always drawn to Hastur because of True Detective. I can't resist it. All right, so we're going to have 11 Doom steps, and then we need 13 Elder Signs. So then we're going to choose our investigators. The way that I choose my investigators is I click this randomizer, and once I have 2 men and 2 women, then I go forward. I don't try to balance them, which is probably why I lose. Let's see. We've got 3 men. No. 3 men. No. 3 men. What is going on here? 3 men. Here we go. 2 women and 2 men. Both of the men are wearing hats. It's like it's meant to be. Like I said, I don't look at what their stats are or anything. I just try to get gender parity. So let's go to the museum. We get a little bit of flavor video here. I don't have the sound on. I don't want to spoil it all for you. It's quite well done. This is just sort of setting the scene. Everything's in the library. The library. I don't actually know what ends up happening to this guy. He's not like a narrator or somebody who helps us over the course of the game. So, do 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 do. I might actually just skip this part. That baby, it looks like a little baby Cthulhu. Little baby. Little tentacle baby. If there was a baby Cthulhu, like a baby Yoda, the end. That's it. You wouldn't ever be able to get me away from anything Lovecraft at that point. Okay, so here we go. There's the museum. Let's go inside. So, we're trying to find the manuscript of the King in Yellow before Hastur's minions do. Where it says Hastur's control over the other worlds have caused them to be more treacherous than normal. That is Hastur's, this one. Otherworld adventures have an extra Doom +1 penalty. So if you fail on an Otherworld adventure, you've got this extra penalty, which is not great. So we want to collect 13 Elder Signs to seal away Hastur and win. Let's see what we've got on in the museum so far. We've got 3 places with terror. This space is locking up. So that's what I mean by like the pulsing circle. This place is locked up the red dice. So we should probably go there first. Let's take a little look, see what it involves. We need to find help. So we need 2 skulls, a lore, and a 3 investigator. So that's minimum 4 dice. Yipes, that's a lot of dice. Let's see what our character right now can do. Well, she's got an extra yellow glyph, which is super useful. And once per day, she can restore 1 sanity to 1 investigator of her choice, including herself. So if she loses a sanity, I don't know. She might be able to do it now. Okay, well, let's go ahead and let's just go here. We're going to need to free up that red die. So, whoa! Somebody cut the phone. Okay, first things first. Let's come over here and let's activate this yellow glyph. Yes, please. And then let's roll our glyphs, try to conjure. We got it. Wow. All right, so we're going to feed a skull, a lore, and 3 magnifying glasses. Beedle-dee-dee. So she got this, which increases someone's stamina by 1. Got a spell that lets you save a glyph similar to focus, and 2 trophies. Well, no elder signs, but we did free up the red dice now, and that was our goal. So, who's next? Joe Diamond. Look at him, super cool. Pew pew. So Joe, what's Joe's special ability? If you're using a clue token, so it's this. Joe may conjure glyphs a 2nd time for free. Hey, that's good. Maybe, and he's got a yellow. Maybe we'll send him somewhere difficult. Let's try to find somewhere that's got elder signs. Ugh, I'm going to do that so many times. This opens another world location. Not super interested. So does that one. That's just clues. Although sending him to get more clues probably isn't the worst idea. This gives us an elder sign. Oh, yipes. -2 sanity whenever we roll a terror dice. And we got to do all that. We're going to have to save the King in Yellow for later, I think. That one's not a joke. Okay. All right. Well, let's send him to the missing reports, I think. You can get some more clue tokens and see what's going on with the missing records, not missing reports. So let's go ahead and get our yellow glyph going. We'll conjure. We've got We're going to use this, this, and this, I think, to solve this one. Get one out of the way. We couldn't have done the 6. This hopefully, yep, will let us have easier access to the 6. Bing, bong, boom. Wonderful. So we got 2 new Clo tokens and a trophy. Cool. I'm good with it. We don't have any midnight bad things. We don't have any glyphs tied up. Ooh, Dexter Drake. Mr. Suave. What's his special thing? Whenever he gains 1 or more spells, he receives 1 extra spell. Awesome. He's got 2 spells here. So let's get him some more spells. Clues, Otherworld, unique item, Otherworld, clue. This is going to give us a monster and a spell. This one's hard though. The Medusa exhibit's real difficult. Might. Ooh. I'm tempted. What has he got in his inventory? A red and a couple of spells. Ooh. Ooh-wee. I think we can do it. I think we can do it. So if we fail, we'll lose 2 sanity, whatever. If we succeed, a monster will spawn. We'll get a spell, a common item, and an elder sign. We need an elder sign. This scares me. I mean, it is terror. If we roll a terror dice, we have to roll terror dice. Discard all terror glyphs. Eek, babeek. All right, well, no guts, no glory is not at all the right way to approach this game. Just so you know. Taking things slowly isn't the worst idea. But here we go. Well, we rolled 1 terror, but we didn't roll any other ones, so no other dice are going to get discarded, you know. Now we are going to use one of our spells to lock this lore in place because we know we're going to need the lore in the next. We're going to need the lore here in the next task. So let's go to town. Of course, we roll nothing but lore. That's fine. Better safe than sorry. So we use the lore there. We lose another sanity. We can't believe what we're seeing in this Medusa exhibit. I'm going to use my other spell to save this 3 because that 3 is good. That's almost half of what we need here. So let's roll again. There it is. Ooh, and we got a wild. Oh, we didn't even need to use our spells, really. Whoops-a-doodle. Okay. All right. And we'll send 1 more. There we go. And we got all that fun stuff. We got a monster, an elder sign, a spell, 2 spells, a common item, and a trophy. And we should get an additional spell too. So a monster appears. We'll probably send Amanda to go deal with it. Let's see what Amanda's special ability. She can complete any number of tasks on her turn. That's great. That's really good. And she can conjure a yellow and a red. And the red also gives her a clue. What was that? Oh, because it's a Necromonicon. That's why it's so powerful. Okay, so again, I'm not concerned about any nighttime things. I would probably like to deal with this monster. I would like to deal with that monster. There's not really any negative effect to not dealing with the monster. That gives us an Otherworld. I'm not worried about that. I want more Elder signs. But there aren't, I mean, the Otherworld adventures give us Elder signs. So maybe I should, either the graveyard. You know what? We'll do the gate to elsewhere. That's fine. Now, if we, plus I like this picture a lot. I think that's really evocative. Let's see if we can do it without using our yellow and red glyphs. Well, that wasn't super useful. Okay, so we'll use that. Let's try it again. We got 1. I just feel like the odds are that I can get... Don't prove me wrong, dice. There we go. That I could accomplish this task without using those. So now she got 2 new clues. We opened an otherworld location and we got 2 trophies. I think we're not doing too poorly. Yugoth. All right, so we're back to Carolyn. We're going to see what midnight effects we have. +1 for each yellow lock. There are no yellow locks. Beedle-dee-dee. So we're still at a Doom 0. Cool. Not even upset about that. I am going to use her special ability, though, to increase Dexter's sanity by 1, because he lost some. And we're going to send her... She's got a red and a spell. I think we might send her to Yugoth. Yeeps. So she could potentially lose 2 sanity, a health, and we'd get a Doom token. But 2 Elder Signs are really good. All right, here she goes. Let's send her to another dimension. All right, so she is going to use the Book of Xian. Let's go. Let's go. So she doesn't have 8. Dang, she can't do any of it. Flip. Okay, so we're going to save on the spell. We're going to save this terror. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to save this 3 on her. Okay. Oh, great. I think... this is not good. I'm going to do this one first. I think I have a better chance here of getting good numbers than if I were to use all 3 of those dice and have to depend on those 2 to get 2 skulls. I think it's the right call. It was. Excellent. Because this is wild. We'll just turn it into a 4 and then we got it. If I end up winning this the first time I record it, I've been playing this game for years and I've never beaten the King in Yellow. I mean, not like consistently, like a couple times a month. I go through phases, but so she gets all this. Excellent. Great. Moving right along. Pew pew. Here comes Joe Diamond. So Joe Diamond... He's looking pretty healthy. Oh, he's got all those clues because that's his special ability, right? Okay, well, let's go somewhere difficult. We got a ton of clues. Should we get rid of the riot in the streets? Or, ooh, a secret gathering. He's a pretty sturdy boy. He's got 6 stamina. We could lose these 2. Yeah, let's go to a secret gathering. Yipes. All right, let's roll them. So we could do the 6. So let's go ahead and do the 6. And then that way we only need 2 lore. We got him. What on earth? Making it look easy. So we got a monster. We got an otherworld token. We got an elder sign, 2 trophies, and another clue. He's just gathering up the clues. Things are going to start going downhill pretty soon, I'm sure. Things never stay great for long. Okay, so Dexter is probably going to come down here to this yellow to free up some yellows. Yeah, let's go down there. To the gala in the Great Hall. That dress is legit. Okay. This might be tricky. with only 6 dice. All right, so we have a couple options here. We can't, well, we don't. We have one option because we can't finish this one because we don't have a lore. It's my special ability. I can save one. No, I'm not going to. We're just going to go ahead and do this one. Lose the sanity. We can't believe it. This gala is out of control. And then, should I save one of those? We'll see what happens. Oof, pressing your luck. I can never resist pressing my luck. Okay, so in this case, we are going to use that spell. We're going to save the 2. And then we're going to discard the 3. And we're going to save the lore on his face. Yipes. This needs to be a skull. Eek. Okay, so we fail. So we get a doom token. It's okay. It's our first doom. All right, so Amanda might come down there and help out. She's going to go over and help Dexter out. That dress, though. I do really like that dress. All right, she's going to take the red dice, and that gave her another clue, too. Now, remember, she could, in theory, finish all of these, but she also can't because she doesn't have enough. She might. Let's do this. Let's use one of the clues. We know, here, let's get out of this. We know we've got the 2 here, and this could be either one of these. So really, we just need to re-roll these 4 and hope for one of these signs. I think odds are pretty good that we're going to get it. So let's roll these again. No! Oh my goodness, Rachel. Okay. Yeah, got it, right? Yeah, got it. Okay, so 2 lore, and then we changed this to a skull. We did it. Now, the problem with having someone else come in and help is typically the first person who did it suffered quite a bit. And then they don't even get any of the reward. Are you kidding me? They don't even get any of the rewards for completing it. Boop, boop, boop. It's midnight. What's happening at midnight? Doom +1. Fine. That's it. Okay, so we have an other world that's going to give us some elder signs, I'm sure. Sure of it. It'll give us 1. And lets us take a doom token away. Tempting. We've got this one that's keeping our yellow glyph locked up. It'll give us 2 yellow dice. Okay. She's going to restore a sanity. She just keeps restoring his sanity. It's like a guy who's in it's like a, what's that guy's name in The Soprano? You know, the lead guy. It's like a soprano in, was it Dr. Melfi situation? She's got kind of like a Dr. Melfi thing going on, in that she's like a middle-aged white lady. Do I want to do that one? Or do I want to come down here and try to do this one? Or should I just go up here and try to beat this monster? Go a little bit crazy. You know what? Let's go here. Yeah. Oh, it's probably not a good idea. The Great Hall. I can't use this because I'd only get the red glyph, so it's not worth it. Nervous. Which one? Get rid of that one. Roll again. Let's get rid of this one. And we got 3 shots to get a lore. I like those odds. Liking them a little bit less as time goes on. Oh, hey, look at this. We got the Blue Watcher. We can drop a glyph to convert it to a lore. Well, daggum, that's exactly what we needed. I guess we could have rolled again. No, probably would have been smarter. Rolled again to see if we could have just rolled it, but better safe than sorry. Pew pew, Joe Diamond. What does he have to say for himself? He's gonna go and do this one. Free up those yellow glyphs. Looks like a uterus that he's carving into that guy's face. Okay, well that's that's terrible. Oh, but he's got a ton of clues. Let's just re-roll them all. Damn. Excuse me. All right, let's get rid of this guy first because he doesn't take any health away. Let's do it. Let's re-roll all of them. Really? We're gonna use his haunches to try. Are you? You know what? I might as well use them while I got all the dice. Let's try again. Oh my sweet goodness. Let's use hunches again. This is obscene. All right, Clue. Come on. Come on, skeleton face. Yeah. Boop. All right. We just need one more skeleton face. There it is. Boy, we burned through all those clues, though. Hey, and now we get this common item that lets us turn something into a skeleton face. We didn't even get any Elder Scrolls from that. Elder Signs. That's okay, because we freed up the yellow glyph. So, excellent. All right. Where can we send him to lose more of his sanity so he has to go back to Dr. Carolyn? What does he have? He can increase somebody's health back up to max. Is anybody really hurting? No, not really. Okay. What is his special ability? Oh, when he gets a spell, right? When he gets a spell, he gets more spells. Well, let's get him some spells. No. 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 Let's go investigate this mysterious tome. That is mysterious. All right. Should we? I don't think we need to yet use the yellow dice. Well, we're using 3 dice on that. That blows. All right, let's do it. Yoink. And there we go. Excellent. This game's making me look a fool being so easy. All right. Dreamlands. I think we might send Amanda to the Dreamlands. What does she have in her satchel? She's got a ton of clued. Yeah, let's send her over to the Dreamlands. Yeah, well, you know, somebody else could go to the Dreamlands because it's only one task. I'd rather send her to multiple. Ooh. Let's send her to go deal with the riots in the street. That doesn't look like a riot. That looks like a zombie apocalypse. Oh, she can't do more than one. Maybe she can if she gets one done. I don't really know how her talent works in like a sequential thing like this. Let's find out. Oh, she can do it. Wonderful. And she will do it. Here she goes. So we are over halfway done with the elder signs. Oh no, now one of our green glyphs is locked up. So we're making good progress. Let's see what happens at midnight. A riot appears. I just cleared it. So we get a monster. All right, deal with that, I guess. So she is, let's see, does she need to go back to Dexter? No, she needs to go to Pew Pew Joe. Oh, no, everybody's sanity's fine. Oh, wait, no, she'll do Dexter. That's fine. I was looking at stamina. Let's send her over here to take care of this glyph problem. 3 skeleton heads is a lot, though. Skulls. We call skeleton heads skulls. Oh no, did you hear that? She heard it. She definitely heard it. I don't want to use that one yet. That's good. All right, let's use that. Let's roll again. Eep. That's a good spell to save two symbols, but we're not using it. Oh, bother. Let's throw that in there and let's do this because I don't want her to actually fail this task. We got 1 skull. So she'll save that. And then hopefully, there we go. I'll just roll a ton of skulls. There we go. Excellent. Doop doop a doo. Read up the green glyph. And here comes Joe Diamond. Guns a-blazing. Where are we going? Let's see. We got a yellow and change something into a skull. So, this looks promising. Let's go to the administration office. And let's take the yellow. And we'll use the 3 there. Excellent. We'll use 7. And then we'll use the skull. I feel like I set this on baby. It's working out far too well. Things need to start going bad or else you're not gonna even understand what the challenge is of the game. All right, here he comes. Captain Dexter. What's he got? He's gonna go here because we need to free up that red die. It's the monster that's locking it up. So if we beat the monster, then we're set. What a gift shop, huh? All right, so let's... I'm not worried about anybody's health. Let's see. Don't necessarily like any of these. Oh my goodness. So let's re-roll everything but the skull because we need the skull. There we go. We'll take that. We'll take that, which frees up the red glyph. And then we will save this 3 so that we can, here we go, use it in that. We get a red thing and a trophy. All right. How many trophies is it for an elder sign? 10 trophies. Okay. How many trophies? She's got 7, 6, 8. We could just buy them. Is there anywhere she needs to get some trophies, guys? Maybe we'll go here to open up another otherworld location so that she can... Why is there a graveyard at this museum? So she can go ahead and... So we can go there and get the elder signs. We'll do 7. We'll do that. Let's re-roll and see if we can get a terror. Yay. All right. Midnight. Doom +1. Probably. I mean, we only need what, 5 more elder signs? She's got 8 trophies. So let's send her to one of these places. I'll give her 2 clues. Yeah, let's send her to the Dreamlands. Hey, Dexter was maxed out on sanity. What a red letter day. All right, let's re-roll. We need 3 magnifying glass and a skull. So let's re-roll these. Not ideal. We'll use this one to keep a skull. We'll get rid of this one. I'm going to use my face to keep that 3. Hopefully we'll get a lore. And we did. It's starting to concern me how easily this is working out. Either I've always played really poorly and all of a sudden the game makes sense to me, or I mean the dice are really working out in my favor. Um, let's send Joe. Let's see what the Yipes. But that's 3 whole elder signs. You know what? Things have been going pretty well for us. Let's send him over there. He doesn't have any more dice. Oh, this is going to be a challenge. Oh no. Can I do that? No. Oh no. Oh no. They need to be 2. Well, if they need to be 2 dice anyway, might as well just do that. I mean, I've already lost. I don't know why I did that. Okay, let's re-roll. Oh, I can't. I can change 1 into a skull. It doesn't matter. I fail. Oh, dear. Sorry, Joe. All right, Dexter. Go help him out. Those 3 elder signs are super tempting. Let's get a red one. Yes, please. What else are you telling me? You want to raise somebody up to their maximum health? I guess we can do that to Joe Diamond. It's not the worst option. Okay. Alright, we can do this. Can I save anything? I could. I'm not going to. Yeah. Alright. Oh man. We're only 1 elder sign away from being victorious. Let's... Her special thing is she can do multiple in a space. Let's see if there's one that'll get us an elder sign. The king in yellow. Well, I mean, we got to do it, right? We're in Hastur. We got to go to the king in yellow. What does she have? We'll use one of those reds. We'll do that. I have a clue. Let's just hang on. What does she need? The terror? So if she gets 2 lore. Oh my god. Why was this so easy? Look at that. It all clears up. The world is saved for now. I still can't believe that was that easy. But yeah, so that is how you play Elder Sign Omen. It's a little more streamlined than the board game version, but all the basic things are there. It's a good introduction to sort of the Lovecraft mythos, I think. And it is, I mean, it's entertaining. I'm not exaggerating when I say that is the smoothest a game has ever gone for me on this app. Typically I get my head handed to me by like a tentacle monster. So, well, I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.